Thank you, brother. Uh, I, I thought when I was listening to you speak that the it's important to remember that tribal nations gave legitimacy to the formation of this American nation. Before that, a pariah state, meaning that it was illegitimate and nobody it was illegal from the beginning. So I think it's important for us as the next generation to come that they realize that it was because of tribal nations that gave legitimacy in treaties and by dealing with nation to nation with the United States. The United States needed indigenous people. And then that we always look at ourselves and we say, well, why are we such an oppressed people? What is underlying that oppression? What documents, what statutes, what mindset, what piece of colonialism still is happening today? Because they'll say all of these, we can put in place many different laws, but the mindset of the collective American people is still oppressing, particularly African American peoples in America, but all people of color, Anishinaabe. So what underlies that oppression? What is that? So we have to ask ourselves these and figure that out. Is it the Constitution of the United States? Is it the Constitution of the Minnesota state of Minnesota? Is it the Constitution of the Minnesota Chippewa tribe? Is it the Constitution of the Fond du Lac Band? What underlies our continued oppression? Why are we feeling this way? Why do we have to? Why do we have to still struggle? And our children feel the way they are. Why are we having a conversation where it's blood quantum? They tell us a whole lot about phenotypes, skin types, DNA, about hair color and eye color and things. But what they don't say is about the spirit. The spirit, they'll never tell you about the spirit of our ancestors that lived through us and how we carry ourselves and use that knowledge, use the intergenerational knowledge in a good way to honor our ancestors, to use the dream state knowledge, to use the ceremonial knowledge, to use the contemporary knowledge. We have a time right now where you have at the flip of a phone, you can Google anything. We have the most data out there available to us, but yet we're seemingly illiterate yet. So there's a long ways we have to go, but we have some tools at our hands. But I think there's value in Ogichidawi, the way of caring for the people in such a way that you're willing to not only talk about it but fight about it. And so as you push the warrior society will push the bar higher and higher to be more egalitarian, and then you'll have your civil servants, the politicians and things, that they're willing to negotiate sometimes through their own selfishness and for their benefit a certain level, but by the value of the ones that push, the more militant types, the bar goes higher, so we all benefit because of that. So it is with the concept of Black Lives Matter. People say, well, Native Lives Matter, and we agree about that. But when we raise the bar of Black lives, African American lives, then everybody else comes up, whatever intersectionality of oppression you're in, whether it's LGBTQ or what have you. Everybody gets lifted. So when everybody stands behind that concept, then everybody is benefited. A more egalitarian society. It's not that we're choosing one group of oppressed peoples over others. I think that we all recognize that we're a mutuality of things, and in solidarity that we can all be lifted. But I think as indigenous peoples, to go back way before colonialism even came here, that how things can we envision what that was like? Because today we know that we're fighting colonialism, we're fighting capitalism, we're fighting racism, and we even want to understand that this form of patriarchy has only been around a couple thousand years, and that matriarchy is not saying that the women are going to run everything, but things are going to be more egalitarian, more equal. So those are some of the things that we need to continue to talk about, especially with our younger generation, and value their thoughts as they come amongst us, and to listen and give. So we're all in this struggle together. But today, in 2020, we have an opportunity to cast our votes, to say this is what because when the grandchildren ask us, well, who did you vote for? I took my grandson down to vote, and everybody hears about the current president's name every day. And he sounded that name out. And I said, no, don't mention that name here. And he said, why? Because I said he's for a different group of people than us in politics. This way, so I said, we're poor and oppressed. So he is not for us. So we have to, it's a strange thing, politics. But voting is part of participating. And we've got to participate if we're going to lift our the oppressive nature of this current form of America off our necks. So we've got to do our part, and voting will help us to do that.
Just pick it up. I wanted to mention too, I got my green card, my tribal ID with me. That's I use that when I cross the border, when I can go back in and out, back and forth anytime I want. And I have the right to live here too. I'm not a citizen, but still, I have the right to be here too. In Canada, we use our tribal ID. It's tax free. You can buy furniture. You don't have to pay no taxes. No, we get in Canada for every year for treaty money is $5 a year. It's only a difference.
It's worth something.
At least I can buy a loaf of bread with it.
Yeah, once a year you can get a free loaf of bread.
Not 2 for $5, but
So as a Native American, I'm proud to be Native Americans. As an individual, we have more rights than anybody else. Like the whites now, we have more rights. So we're recognized in Canada and the States now. Separation there by the tribes and that. But I just, I can't. The only thing I can't vote here is in the political election for president. I can't vote there. So, but still, my reservations have been me vote not to vote on the reservation. So put on my reservation back home and have to do that. I've been around almost 30 years now. So I never got kicked out of here yet. They hasn't kicked me out yet.
Don't say that too loud.
I think what our brother is illustrating is this border, this line of demarcation, so-called of the Canada, United States, has really come down right in the middle of Anishinaabe King, indigenous Ojibwe country. So we have to think about that in a colonialized mind. Our mind is colonized. And some of the stand-up comedians will talk about where you come to the edge of the reservation and look over there, and they'll say, well, you can go. Really? I can really leave? I have the ability to leave? And I think that's the same way in our mindset, that we can only have, there's certain parameters that we can do. And if this line of demarcation that comes across this border divides our brother from us, then there's a problem with that. Our language, natural law, goes across. The wind goes across. The fire goes across. The clouds go across. Natural law. So I think that's how we live, in a more natural state. So we have to have them young ones think about those things, and it helps in the dialogue, and it helps in for the future to think this way, to think differently, that we do have a voice. And then when you find your voice, it's a powerful thing. It's uplifting. It's exhilarating. I think that's what when I hear you talk like that, brother, about the separation there, that's what comes to my mind.
And since I'm from Canada, I consider myself an alien. Well, I don't know what planet I come from, though, but in my wallet, I always carry my green card and my private ID, and I have another card too. I went to Texas one time. I have a real alien card. There's an alien on there. I use that card. I can give that one. They might still piss them off. Water patrol.